The Angola National Assembly received this Friday the 220 deputies elected on August 24. President João Lourenço's MPLA has the absolute majority with 124 seats, the largest opposition party. UNITA elected 90 representatives. 3 parties split the remaining seats equally. Despite contesting the results of the ballot, UNITA's leader explained why he is embarking on the current legislature. We need to make reforms. We need to revise the constitution. We need to direct election of the President of the Republic, and we need to delay the local power. And what we expect is that, regardless of what it is, MPLA, UNITA, or other parties have the courage to return sovereignty to those. Alberto Costa Jr. emphasized that he never spoke of fraud but of deviation from the laws and accused the court of evading justice. The Ivorian government, in collaboration with the United Nations Population Fund and the Korean International Cooperation Agency, hosted the conference South-South and Triangular Partnership for the Elimination of Obstetric Fistula by 2030 on Tuesday in Cote d'Ivoire. Many fistula victims suffer in silence as a result of the stigma. The First Lady of Cote d'Ivoire urged patients to break that silence. I'd like to address especially my sisters and daughters suffering from this disease. I'd like to tell you that you're not alone. The treatment and care are made available to you by the government and its partners are effective and free. A coalition of donors is working to give these women a new life. Their goal is to enforce the United Nations and ECOWAS resolutions as well as the Abidjan Declaration. It is coordinated by Belgium. The Belgian governmental cooperation implemented by our development agency, ABEL, which will soon be established in Cote d'Ivoire under European funding, is underway and focuses on sexual and reproductive health and rights. In many countries of this region, ladies and gentlemen, Excellency, Belgium welcomes the holding of this high-level dialogue and would like to congratulate Cote d'Ivoire for the initiative and the welcome given to the exchange of the regional experiences in view of our mutual commitment. I'm pleased to announce that Belgium has accepted the role of coordinator of the donor coalition initiated by UNESCO in Cote d'Ivoire in order to join efforts to create a platform for the exchange of experiences and good practices for the eradication of obstetric fistula. The conference in Abidjan was preceded by a surgical mission coordinated by Professor Magaye and the participation of surgeons from West and Central African countries. 180 complex cases of fistula were operated on and national capacities were strengthened. In Cote d'Ivoire, more than 16 women die every day from complications related to childbirth, pregnancy, or in the 42 days following childbirth. 80% of these deaths are due to direct obstetric causes.
Tensions continue to flare up between Ivory Coast and Mali. On Thursday, the Malian authorities rejected Ivory Coast's call for a regional emergency crisis summit over the detention of 46 Ivorian soldiers. Mali's transitional authorities added in the statement that the mediation by the Togolese government was the only framework it would engage in to solve what has become a diplomatic row. Since Ivorian soldiers were arrested in Bamako in July, Abidjan has insisted the troops were sent as backup for the UN peacekeeping mission in Mali. However, the mandate of the troops remained unclear, and they were charged for undermining state security. On Wednesday, following a meeting of Ivory Coast National Security Council, chaired by President Ouattara, Abidjan accused Mali of blackmailing. Indeed, Mali's leader suggested a prisoner swap to end the crisis. The matter should be discussed next week during an extraordinary ECOWAS summit held on the sidelines of the UN's General Assembly in New York.
After the Zouglou years and the resounding success of coupe-décalé, rap or rap Ivoire is emerging as a new major musical genre in Ivory Coast, with artists hoping to break out beyond the country's borders. It is clear that compared to previous years, Ivory Coast rap is passing a milestone because we see that people are more and more interested in what is happening in Abidjan. There are collaborations with Ivorian artists already happening at the international level. We see a movement. At the Palais de la Couture, one of Abidjan's largest concert halls, a long line of several hundred of people stretches out hours before the start of the highly anticipated concert. The star of the evening is called DDB, the Ivorian Buba. According to his fans, who came in large numbers, the concert is sold out. Rap Ivoire is a rap that is developing steadily. People are listening to it in France and around the world too. So little by little, we think that we're going to make it. We've been to other concerts and felt nothing. But look at DDB. It is sold out. All the tickets are gone. He has really raised the bar high. Until late 2010, coupe-décalé largely dominated by the musical landscape in Ivory Coast. But since Arafat, the star DJ, died in a road accident in 2019, rap has gradually won hearts. I think that after the death of Arafat, there was a big void, and it was a void that had to be filled. The coupe-décalé could not be held, and I think that Rap Ivoire took this place which was vacant. According to a French rap specialist, Jean Morel, Abidjan is becoming a global musical hub, and it sets the pace for a number of initiatives. There is a bridge that has been created between Paris and Abidjan, a bit like the one between London and Lagos. Somali President met with the U.S. Secretary of Defense, Lloyd James Austin, on Thursday. The meeting was focused on strengthening the capacity of Somalia's military to battle Al-Shabaab, which U.S. generals have described as Al-Qaeda's most lethal outfit. The group has been waging a deadly insurgency against Somalia's international-backed government.
Since June 2022, SNA has led Somali National Army has been able to partner with the local forces in the removal of Al-Shabaab from 20% of the area they controlled before. We recognize that defeating Al-Shabaab requires a multifaceted approach that includes effective and accountable security forces, an inclusive state-building process, the ability of the state to provide a rule of law and critical services to the public.
Somalia and the Horn of Africa have entered a crucial period of transition. This period will be especially important given the ongoing hostilities in Ethiopia, the persistent threat of Al-Shabaab, which continues to launch high-profile, cruel, and brazen attacks on civilians. Our cooperation here is crucial, Mr. President, and we stand ready as your partners.
According to a report from the Pentagon's African Center for Strategic Studies, Al-Shabaab has been one of the deadliest and most effective terror groups on the continent this year, accounting for an estimated 36% of all militant Islamist group violence.
Again, welcome. Thanks, everybody.